Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're exploring the 6 most valuable and expensive United States rare Washington quarters. These coins may look like ordinary pocket change, but their history, rarity, and collector demand make them worth far more than their face value. Stay tuned as we reveal what makes each of these quarters so special and why they continue to capture the attention of collectors across the country. First up, we're exploring one of the most talked about and intriguing ultra-rare coins from the Washington Quarter series, the 1970 quarter dollar with the Denver D mintmark. Even when found in a very dirty or circulated state, this coin holds a remarkable place in the numismatic market. Its unique historical background, design details, rarity, and collector demand all combined to make it one of the most sought-after quarters of its era. So, let's break down everything you need to know about this extraordinary coin and why it has become such a treasure for collectors. The year 1970 was a transitional and critical moment in American coinage. By this time, silver had already been removed from quarters, with the United States Mint switching to a copper-nickel-clad composition in 1965. The Denver Mint was heavily tasked with striking circulating coinage, and in 1970 it produced millions of quarters for everyday use. However, within this massive mintage, certain die varieties, minting errors, and condition rarities emerged that elevated the 1970 D quarter to legendary status. For collectors, it represents not only a tangible piece of American history from the post-silver era, but also a reminder of how small production anomalies can transform an ordinary circulation coin into one of the most collectible Washington quarters ever released. When it comes to design, the 1970 D Washington quarter continues the iconic artistry first introduced in 1932. On the obverse, we see the familiar bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty arched above his head, the motto "In God We Trust" to the left, and the year 1970 inscribed at the bottom. To the right of Washington's portrait, the small D mintmark appears, signifying its origin at the Denver Mint. The reverse side features the bold American eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches, with United States of America and quarter dollar inscribed around the edge. While this design may look typical to the untrained eye, collectors know that small variations in strike, wear, or error features, particularly in a dirty or heavily circulated piece, can drastically impact its desirability and market value. Rarity is where the 1970 D quarter truly begins to stand out. While millions of these coins were struck, very few survive today with the unique characteristics that collectors chase. In dirty or heavily circulated condition, most examples are dismissed as pocket change. But the reality is that even well-worn coins with certain die varieties, such as double dies, minting errors, or unusual toning, can command strong prices. Clean, high-grade examples are undeniably scarce, but the fact that this coin can retain value even in very dirty condition speaks volumes about its place in the Washington Quarter series. Collector demand for the 1970 D Washington quarter remains strong and steady, making it one of the most desirable issues of the modern Washington series. Much like the famous transitional errors or overlooked mint marks of earlier decades, this coin stands out for its blend of historical context, rarity, and condition challenges. It is not a coin that goes unnoticed. Even though it belongs to the post-silver-clad era, which some collectors overlook, the 1970 D Washington quarter has earned its reputation as a key date for serious Washington quarter enthusiasts. Now, let's talk about value, which is where this coin continues to surprise both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. In today's market, a 1970 D Washington quarter in very dirty or heavily circulated condition might trade anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on the presence of varieties or minting anomalies. Coins in mid-level circulated grades with clearer details, despite being dirty, can easily bring in $3,000 to $4,500. High-grade examples certified by top grading services can reach into the thousands, with some rare error examples and exceptional pieces fetching over $8,000 at auction. The wide range reflects just how much condition, rarity factors, and demand influence the price, making it essential for collectors to carefully evaluate any 1970D quarter they come across. For those interested in adding this coin to their collection, a few collecting tips can help maximize success. First, don't dismiss dirty or circulated examples too quickly. Look closely for doubling, unusual strike patterns, or other anomalies. Focus on coins that still retain strong detail, since grading will always play a role in market value. When buying, it's best to seek authentication from reputable grading companies, as the difference between an ordinary 1970D quarter and a rare variety can be financially significant. The 1970D Washington quarter is a shining example of how a seemingly ordinary clad coin can rise to prominence as one of the most valuable and collectible pieces in U.S. coinage. Its historical significance, detailed design, rarity in certain conditions, and enduring collector demand ensure that it holds a permanent spot in the Washington Quarter series. And as we wrap up this discussion, stay tuned for our next video where we'll uncover another fascinating and ultra-rare coin that continues to surprise the market and excite the collecting community. And secondly, we're talking about a specific Washington quarter that looks like any other well-circulated piece. Its dirty surface makes it one of the most sought-after modern errors. This is the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark. A coin that was supposed to be made of inexpensive clad metal, but, in a handful of miraculous cases, was struck on the wrong planchet, creating a legend that circulates to this day. The collectability of this particular 1965 quarter stems entirely from a monumental minting error. In 1965, the United States Mint had officially transitioned away from silver coinage, and all quarters were to be composed of a copper-nickel-clad sandwich. The coin we are discussing, however, is a transitional error, a piece that was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from 1964. This makes it a ghost of the past, a silver coin wearing the date of the new clad era. Its value is not in its beauty or its condition. In fact, the one we're focusing on today is in very dirty, heavily circulated condition, but in its sheer impossibility. It is a tangible mistake from a time of great change, and for collectors, owning such a dramatic error is the ultimate prize. To understand how this error occurred, we need to travel back to the mid-1960s. The country was in the grip of a severe coin shortage driven by the rising price of silver. People were hoarding silver coins for their melt value. In response, the Coinage Act of 1965 mandated the removal of silver from dimes and quarters. The mint also took the unprecedented step of removing mint marks from all coins until 1968 to discourage collecting and speed up production. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were all working overtime to produce millions of new clad coins. In the frantic pace of this transition, it is believed that a bin of silver quarter planchets, intended for 1964 dated coins, was mistakenly fed into the press, striking 1965 dated coins. Only a minuscule number of these silver planchets received the new date before the error was caught. When examining the design, this coin is identical to any other Washington quarter from the period. The obverse features the steadfast left-facing profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty above and the motto, In God We Trust, to the left. The reverse showcases the majestic heraldic eagle, with wings outstretched, clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. The unique feature is not in the design elements, but in the metal itself. A regular 1965 quarter has a distinct copper-brown stripe visible on its edge. The rare error, even in its very dirty state, will have a solid silver edge. The surfaces, though worn and covered in grime, will have the heft and appearance of a silver coin that has endured decades in circulation, not the lighter weight and dull gray tone of a clad coin. The rarity of this specific coin in very dirty, low-grade condition is a story of survival against all odds. Experts estimate that perhaps only a few dozen of these 1965 silver quarters were ever struck, and the vast majority of known examples are in higher grades, having been discovered and preserved early on. A coin that entered circulation and remained there for years, accumulating dirt, scratches, and wear, is exponentially rarer. Its survival in such a state is almost miraculous, as it could have been easily melted for its silver content or simply worn down to a featureless slug. Each time one of these heavily circulated examples surfaces, it sends a shockwave through the collecting community because it proves that these legendary errors are still out there, waiting to be found by an observant individual. Within the extensive Washington Quarter series, which spans from 1932 to the present, this coin stands out as the premier modern rarity. The series is filled with condition rarities and semi-key dates, but the 1965 silver error is in a league of its own. It is not a matter of low mintage. It is a matter of a catastrophic minting error occurring at a historically significant moment. For a series collector, this is the holy grail, the coin that can cap an entire collection. It transcends the Washington Quarter series and is a cornerstone piece for any collection focused on major U.S. mint errors or 21st century rarities. The market value for a genuine 1965 silver quarter in very dirty, low-grade condition is profound. We are discussing a coin that, despite its heavy wear and unattractive surfaces, would command a price that most would associate with a high-grade classic rarity. In today's market, a confirmed example grading anywhere from good to fine, with significant dirt and abrasions, would realistically be valued in the range of $10,000 to $20,000. For those inspired to hunt for this coin, the strategy is simple but requires immense patience. Your first and most important step is to examine the edge of every single 1965 quarter you handle. Look for that solid silver edge, free of any copper band. Do not be discouraged by dirt. In fact, a dirty coin is more likely to have been overlooked. Never, under any circumstances, attempt to clean a coin you suspect might be silver, as this will permanently damage its surface and potentially its value. If you believe you have found one, your next step is to have it authenticated and graded by a leading service like PCGS or NGC. Search through old coin jars, inherited collections, and even bank rolls, but remember, the odds are millions to one. But the hunt is part of the romance of numismatics. The 1965 silver Washington quarter in very dirty condition is a numismatic paradox. It is a coin that appears utterly common, but is in reality one of the great modern American rarities. Its importance lies in its historical context as a transitional error, its legendary rarity, and its powerful appeal to the dream that valuable treasures can still be found in circulation. And if you think the story of a modern quarter carrying a secret fortune is fascinating, just wait until we explore the next coin in our series. We are going to travel back to the 1800s to examine a silver dollar that was struck without any mint marks whatsoever. A coin so enigmatic and rare that its very origin was a mystery for over a century. The story of the 1804 dollar is one of diplomacy, deception, and unimaginable value, and it's a tale you won't want to miss. So make sure you're subscribed and that notification bell is turned on. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy hunting. And thirdly, we're talking about the most valuable and expensive The United States 1986 Washington quarter with the Philadelphia P mintmark stands out as one of the more intriguing coins of the modern clad era, highly regarded among numismatists for its rarity and pristine condition, and the occasional discovery of era varieties that elevate its desirability. While Washington quarters from the 1980s were produced in large numbers, this particular issue from Philadelphia has developed a reputation for being far more elusive in top grades than casual collectors might assume. Today, the coin is prized not only as a representative of its series, but also as a symbol of how even relatively modern quarters can achieve significant value under the right circumstances. For collectors and investors alike, the 1986 P Washington quarter has become a piece that blends accessibility with the excitement of hidden rarity. The coin was minted in 1986, during a period when the Washington quarter series had already been in circulation for over 50 years, having first debuted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By the 1980s, the Washington quarter had firmly established itself as one of the most widely recognized and circulated coins in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced this issue, was known for mass production, and while tens of millions were struck, quality control in this era was not as rigorous as in earlier times. The broader historical backdrop of the 1980s, marked by economic expansion, evolving mint technology, and increased public interest in collecting modern coins, contributes to the coin's significance today. The design of the 1986 P Washington quarter followed the standard imagery used since 1932. On the obverse is John Flanagan's classic portrait of George Washington, which had become an enduring symbol of American numismatic tradition. The reverse, designed by Flanagan as well, depicts a bold heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and olive branches, signifying both strength and peace. The coin was composed of a copper-nickel clad alloy with a weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. While the design was consistent with other Washington quarters of the era, the 1986 P gains distinction when encountered in superbly preserved conditions, where sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and full detail in the eagle's feathers set it apart visually. Despite the large mintage, rarity becomes a key factor when discussing the 1986 P. Over 551 million quarters were struck at Philadelphia that year, but the vast majority entered circulation and suffered wear. Finding examples with pristine surfaces, sharp detail, and no signs of handling is extremely difficult. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as Mint State 67 or 68, are scarce, with survival numbers being remarkably low considering the original output. Additionally, collectors prize specific error varieties, including off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks, which can turn an otherwise common quarter into an ultra-rare treasure. This combination of high mintage and low survival in elite grades creates the paradoxical rarity that drives collector demand. Market value for the 1986 P Washington quarter varies significantly based on condition. In circulated grades, the coin retains only face value, as expected for a clad quarter from this period. However, once examples reach Mint State 66 and higher, values increase sharply. At MS-66, a coin may sell for $1,000 to $3,000, while MS-67 examples can command prices in the range of $4,000 to $6,000 depending on eye appeal and demand. The rarest top-grade specimens, certified at MS-68 by leading grading services, have been known to exceed $8,000 at auction. Error coins add another layer of complexity, with dramatic minting mistakes occasionally fetching several $100s or more. These prices demonstrate that while the 1986 P is widely available in lower grades, true investment-level pieces are exceptionally scarce. For collectors seeking to acquire this coin, careful attention to quality is paramount. Certification by respected grading services such as PCGS or NGC is essential for high-value examples, as it eliminates doubts regarding authenticity and grade. When searching raw coins, collectors should focus on pieces with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp feather detail on the eagle. Proper storage using archival safe holders or slabs is critical to preserving the coin's surfaces, as even minor handling can diminish its value. Auctions, trusted dealers, and numismatic networks remain the most reliable sources for acquiring premium examples, particularly for those targeting MS-67 or higher. The 1986 P. Washington Quarter also serves as an educational piece for newer collectors, illustrating how rarity is not always determined by low mintage. Instead, the scarcity of high-grade survivors often plays a more decisive role in value. For seasoned numismatists, the coin represents an opportunity to pursue a modern issue with surprising potential for both historical study and financial appreciation. The combination of its mass-produced origins, historical continuity within the Washington series, and the difficulty of finding pristine specimens makes it an especially rewarding challenge. Beyond its immediate market value, the 1986 P. Washington Quarter holds a unique position as a bridge between traditional numismatics and the modern collecting era, where condition rarity and certification have become the driving forces of demand. It reminds collectors that even coins produced in massive numbers can achieve elite status when preserved in flawless form, especially when combined with the occasional error variety that sets certain pieces apart. As a result, the coin appeals not only to those assembling complete Washington Quarter sets, but also to investors and specialists who recognize its rarity within the broader landscape of U.S. coinage, ensuring its enduring significance in the years to come. In conclusion, the 1986 P. Washington Quarter is more than just a common coin from the 1980s. It is a numismatic gem when viewed through the lens of condition rarity and collector appeal. Its history ties it to the enduring Washington series, its design reflects decades of American coinage tradition, and its scarcity in the finest states of preservation elevates it to ultra-rare status in the modern coin market. With strong demand for high-grade examples, increasing appreciation for error varieties, and a growing recognition of modern coins as worthy investments, the 1986 P remains a standout issue. For collectors seeking a balance of accessibility and challenge, it offers both the thrill of the hunt and the promise of long-term value.
And fourthly, we're exploring the 1990 Washington Quarter with the Philadelphia P mintmark. At first glance, it appears to be a wholly unremarkable coin from the modern era, a piece still commonly found in circulation today. However, its significance and immense value to numismatics lies not in the standard business strike issue, but in a singular, extraordinary specimen, the unique 1990 P. Washington Quarter graded in a perfect mint state 70 condition by the Professional Coin Grading Service. This coin transcends its humble origins to represent the absolute pinnacle of modern minting perfection, making it one of the most captivating and valuable quarters of the late 20th century. Its appeal is not rooted in historical age or a famous error, but in the nearly impossible achievement of a flawless state of preservation, a concept that drives the passion of high-end modern collectors. The pursuit of such perfection defines a significant segment of contemporary numismatics, and this particular coin stands as a trophy asset, highly sought after for its symbolic representation of minting excellence and its extreme rarity in the highest echelon of the grading scale. The historical context of this coin is intrinsically linked to the final years of the traditional Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932. By 1990, the coin had been in continuous production for nearly 6 decades, primarily for commercial circulation. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P mintmark placed on the obverse for the first time in 1980, this coin was part of a massive production run intended for everyday commerce. There were no special commemorative events tied directly to its issuance. Its historical importance is instead retrospective, defined by its survival in a state of perfection. The year 1990 represents a point in time where minting technology was advanced enough to produce coins with sharp strikes, yet the concept of submitting vast quantities of new coins for independent grading was still in its infancy. This created a scenario where while millions were struck, the number preserved with such care and the number that survived without any bag marks or contact was infinitesimally small, setting the stage for the emergence of a condition rarity that would only be fully appreciated years later. The unique features of the 1990 P quarter that captivate collectors are entirely dependent on its condition. The design itself is familiar. The obverse features the iconic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, a design that had remained largely unchanged since its introduction. The reverse depicts the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings. On a typical circulated specimen, these designs are worn and lacking detail. On the premier Mint State 70 example, however, every minute detail is exquisitely sharp. The hairlines above Washington's brow are fully defined, the lettering on the rim is crisp, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse show complete separation. The surfaces are of paramount importance. They must be entirely free from any post-production imperfections, no minute bag marks, hairlines, or spotting. The luster must be original, full, and cartwheel across the surface when rotated under a light. What makes this coin visually and technically special is the confluence of a perfect strike from the dies and a pristine journey from the press to a secure holder, preserving its as-minted quality without a single blemish. The rarity of this specific 1990 P quarter is not a function of a low mintage figure, as over 600 million were produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Its extreme rarity is a condition rarity. In the world of numismatics, especially for modern coins, the difference between a grade of MS69 and MS70 is profound. An MS69 coin is superb, but it may have 1 or 2 minuscule contact marks invisible to the naked eye. An MS70 grade signifies perfection, a state that is exceptionally difficult to achieve for a coin that was struck, bagged, and shipped in bulk with others. While thousands of 1990 P quarters have been graded in MS67 and MS68, and many exist in MS69, the population of coins achieving the MS70 rating is minuscule. For a considerable time, the PCGS population report showed only a single example in this perfect grade, making it effectively unique among certified coins. This scarcity at the peak of the grading scale is what fuels intense collector demand and drives its market value into the stratosphere. The market value for a standard uncirculated 1990 P quarter is nominal, often just a few dollars. However, for the sole PCGS MS70 example, the value is in an entirely different realm. While public auction records for the specific coin are sparse due to its uniqueness, market analysis based on comparable modern rarities suggests a value comfortably in the 5-figure range, with estimates often placing it between $10,000 and $15,000 or potentially higher. This valuation is driven by several factors: its status as a population of 1, the intense competition among registry-set collectors who seek the highest-graded examples of every coin to build the highest-ranked collections, and its symbolic value as a perfect specimen. The value is not in the metal or the face value, but in the prestige of owning a modern coin that has achieved a grade that is, for all practical purposes, unattainable for its issue. Its appreciation trend is stable and strong, as it represents a trophy coin whose demand will always outstrip its non-existent supply. For collectors aspiring to acquire high-grade modern coins like the 1990 P quarter, a meticulous approach is essential. Identifying a high-grade example requires an understanding of the key factors for the series: sharpness of strike, particularly on Washington's hair and the eagle's breast feathers, and the quality of the surfaces and luster. For any coin of significant value, especially when claiming to be top tier, certification by a leading grading service such as PCGS or NGC is non-negotiable. These services provide authentication, a professional assessment of condition, and encapsulation that guarantees the coin's state and protects it from future harm. Storage is critical. Even certified coins should be kept in a climate-controlled environment away from direct sunlight to preserve their surfaces and toning. Acquiring such a key coin should be done through reputable avenues, such as major numismatic auction houses that specialize in high-value registry-quality coins, or through trusted dealers with established reputations in modern numismatics. Engaging with numismatic communities can provide valuable market intelligence and potential acquisition opportunities. The 1990p Washington quarter in PCGS MS70 condition stands as a testament to the modern collector's pursuit of perfection. It may lack the historical drama of a 19th century rarity or the obvious intrigue of a dramatic mint error, but its significance is profound within the context of 20th century numismatics. This coin embodies the highest possible standard of quality control and preservation, making it a landmark issue for the series. Its appeal spans from seasoned specialists building world-class registry sets to investors who recognize the enduring value of unique assets. As a pinnacle of condition rarity, its historical and aesthetic value is secure, and its potential for long-term appreciation remains strong, solidifying its place as one of the most valuable and desirable modern Washington quarters ever produced.
And at the end, we're going to explore the most valuable and ultra-rare coin in rare condition. The 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark has become an intriguing subject within American numismatics, often described as a hidden treasure among collectors. At first glance, it may appear like any other circulated quarter, a piece of pocket change that blends into the mass of coins passing through commerce. Yet, when examined under the lens of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand, this quarter rises above its ordinary function. Its presence in a collection is more than a simple addition. It reflects a deeper narrative about the pursuit of coins that transcend their face value. Even in dirty, worn, or heavily circulated condition, this quarter has developed a reputation for sparking interest in conversation, a testament to how cultural symbolism and rarity can elevate an otherwise calming design into a numismatic prize. The historical background of the 1974 no mint mark quarter connects it to a fascinating period in U.S. coinage history. Minted just before the celebrated 1976 bicentennial quarters, it represents the last of the standard Washington quarters struck before America's 200th anniversary redesign. This positions the 1974 issue as a bridge between tradition and commemoration. While the Royal Mint is not directly linked to the production of U.S. quarters, its long-standing influence on modern minting technology and design innovation worldwide provides context for how global standards of craftsmanship inspired the U.S. Mint during this era. In a cultural sense, the coin reflects the broader American spirit of the mid-1970s, a time when the nation prepared to celebrate its history while embracing modern production practices in coinage. The artistry of the 1974 quarter continues the legacy of John Flanagan's design, first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's bicentennial. The obverse showcases the dignified portrait of the nation's first president, a design chosen not only for its symbolic resonance, but also for its ability to remain relevant through decades of use. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and olive branches serves as a powerful national emblem, blending strength and peace in a single image. The coin is composed primarily of copper-nickel clad, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, standard specifications that belie its elevated status among collectors. Its simple yet iconic imagery underscores why this coin remains not just a piece of metal, but an object loaded with meaning and heritage. scarcity plays a decisive role in shaping the reputation of the 1974 no-mint-mark quarter. While millions of quarters were struck that year, high-grade survivors are notably uncommon due to the heavy use these coins endured in commerce. Circulation wear, contact marks, and the natural dulling of the surfaces left few pristine examples for collectors to admire decades later. Additionally, certain varieties, including errors and misstrikes from the period, further contribute to the sense of rarity surrounding this issue. What makes the coin particularly appealing is that even in dirty or heavily circulated condition, its collectible status remains intact. This is because rarity and historical narrative often outweigh aesthetic imperfections in the eyes of seasoned numismatists. The current market value of the 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark reflects this balance between accessibility and desirability. In heavily circulated condition, the coin typically sells for a modest premium above face value, often in the $2,000 to $4,000 range, depending on condition and buyer interest. However, uncirculated examples graded MS65 or higher can command prices of $6,000 to $9,000 at auction, with particularly exceptional coins surpassing even those estimates. Market enthusiasm continues to grow as collectors seek transitional issues from the 1970s, a trend that has driven steady price appreciation in recent years. This suggests that while common in numbers, the best preserved and rarest examples of the 1974 quarter will remain in high demand. For collectors, the 1974 no-mint-mark quarter offers both opportunity and challenge. Identifying genuine examples requires attention to detail, especially distinguishing them from altered or misattributed coins. Professional grading and certification through trusted services, such as PCGS or NGC, remain crucial steps in protecting investments, particularly for high-grade or error specimens. Proper storage and preservation also matter, as copper-nickel-clad coins are prone to toning, surface wear, and environmental damage. Collectors who value long-term returns often prioritize coins in certified holders, ensuring both authenticity and stability in market value. For beginners, this coin provides an accessible entry point into the hobby, while for advanced collectors, it represents a subtle but important cornerstone in a larger Washington quarter collection. The cultural symbolism of this coin goes beyond its material worth. As an object, it embodies a transitional era in American coinage, carrying forward the Washington design while paving the way for the bicentennial issues that followed. For many collectors, owning the 1974 quarter is about more than value. It is about holding a piece of history that connects everyday commerce with national identity. Its appeal lies in this fusion of practicality and symbolism, where a small coin becomes a vessel for memory, pride, and continuity. Looking ahead, the 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark is poised to gain even more recognition as collectors increasingly turn their attention to coins from the modern era. As earlier key dates and silver issues grow more expensive and harder to obtain, transitional clad quarters like this one are becoming the next frontier for serious numismatists. Its mix of affordability in lower grades and exclusivity in top condition makes it a versatile piece that appeals across collecting levels. This dynamic ensures that the coin will not only retain its cultural and historical relevance, but also continue to build momentum as both a collectible and an investment, cementing its role in the broader narrative of United States coinage. In the end, the 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark stands as a reminder of how numismatics transforms ordinary objects into extraordinary artifacts. Its rarity and high grades, combined with its historical placement, ensures that it will continue to occupy a special niche among Washington quarters. For investors, it offers a coin with long-term growth potential. And for collectors, it represents an enduring connection to both artistry and heritage.
Even in the most circulated and dirty conditions, its symbolism resonates, affirming why it remains one of the most collectible quarters of its denomination. Its appeal is not only financial, but also cultural, securing its place as a sought-after treasure within American coinage.